Welcome back, everybody. This morning, decided to go ahead and do what I hope is the ultimate and final repair to this right fuel tank. I can't tell you how done I am with this fuel tank. But first things first, I need to find the center of the middle of all of those bays in between all the ribs. So I made a mark across the top of the Z brackets, and then I'm just using the laser to shoot a straight line across that I can transfer down to the baffle. And now I'm just finding the center of each bay, making a little cross mark so I know where the center is at. And now I'm getting that big scary tool I teased in the last video ready to go. That is a fly cutter. This particular one I think will do up to 6-inch holes. I am drilling a pilot hole right now, same size as the center bit of the fly cutter. I have a kit on order, well I have several kits on order from Vans that include cover plates that are meant to fill these holes for this type of repair. I got the instructions emailed to me from Vans so that I knew what size holes to drill. These are 5-inch holes. The cover plates will cover them. They have holes in the perimeter of them, and they come with closed-end pulled rivets. So step one is to drill the holes. I'm doing this now even though I don't have those plates yet because I wanted to go ahead and get the resealing of the inside of the tank done before the plates even get here. That way once they show up, all I need to do is add them and seal them, and hopefully this thing will be done. So I slowed this part down so you can see what it takes to drill these holes with the fly cutter. The key to this thing is super slow speeds. You need a strong enough drill that can handle the torque of doing this at a slow enough speed, which is why I'm using that big monster of a drill right there, but you can get it going nice and slow. So right there you saw it caught as it kind of punched through because I'm not holding it perfectly straight. So now the trick is just to lean it the opposite way to finish kind of cutting through the rest of the holes. And just go nice and slow so you don't catch any metal and wrinkle or damage anything. It really wasn't that bad. A little bow lube helped with the cutting action. Like I said, this is the only one that I slowed the video down for. The rest I'll speed up, but you'll get to see me make all of these holes. This is definitely the nuclear option, the final resolution to fixing the leaks I'm having with this tank. But it really needs to be done with those leaks coming out of the top row rivets. That means fuel is getting past that edge of the baffle where it shouldn't be, and it's just going to cause more problems. Anyhow, back to ludicrous speed. That might have been the only one where I rushed part of it and I caught it and bent the piece I took out, but no damage done to the tank, thankfully. Being down in the cradle and being able to straddle it helped a lot too. That way no part of this thing moved while I was doing it. So that's it. Final hole. I cut a hole into all 5 bays. Again, I did that because it's really impossible to tell because of the amount of rivets that had bubbles blowing from them, to tell where I needed to fix it. And here in just a little bit, when I go in with the camera, I'll see there are areas that look like concern in almost every one of the bays. So I'm glad I opened it all up. Just pulled that alien tape off. That's really, really good stuff for sealing that fuel cap up. And now the arduous task of cleaning out all those metal shavings. Trust me, it was way more in depth than what it looked like there. I cut a bunch of it out, but lots of air gun, lots of vacuum, reaching in, wiping stuff down, and before this is all said and done, it'll also get a rinse. But I did go through and do a wipe of all the areas I'm going to put sealant on with some solvent, just to make sure everything was good and clean before attempting this. That camera is a lifesaver with this. I can stick it in there and I can get a good look at every one of the beads. You could probably do the same thing with an inspection mirror. That works fine too. The nice thing about the camera is on some of these I could stick it in there and leave it pointed at what I was trying to reach and be able to see what I was doing, so that was good. And it's got a light on the end of it, which is really handy because it's really dark in there. I got the whole thing in the cradle tilted up at an angle. I want gravity to help me as much as possible pull all of that stuff back down into that corner. Originally, when I had the original leaks from that baffle, it was actually leaking from the rear on the top edge of the baffle. And I thought I was being clever when I sealed that, because I sealed that whole back edge up and I fixed those leaks, but unfortunately it found another way and it just started coming out around the rivets, which were never originally sealed. They shouldn't have been. There was no need. There should have been a bead of sealant keeping stuff from getting there. So lesson learned. You really can't seal these from the outside. It's got to be done from the inside. And I might have been able to make this go away and hide it for a while, but I'm fairly convinced over time I would have started seeing some blue streaks and little traces of fuel leaks coming out of those various rivets on the top of the wing. I took one of my spatulas, cut the handle down so I could easily get it in there, mixed up a bunch of sealant, and I'm taking the camera and I'm looking at each bead so I get an idea of what it looks like before, and then I'm going in and putting a fillet in along each edge, and then I'm sticking the camera back in there to get another look at it after I'm done to make sure I got it. And there was a few where I clearly missed some areas, so I had to go back and respread it again. I'd like to think I've got it now and I did a good job. Unfortunately, I'm not really going to know until I seal this all back up. I contemplated the idea of putting a little bit of gasoline in there and letting it sit up against that edge after it's cured to see if it leaks before I close these holes up, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. This last bay where the filler cap is a really narrow bay. I didn't cut an opening in it, so I'm trying to go back through the filler cap. And I did already fix that leak in the corner by injecting sealant inside the tank, so I'm pretty sure that is all good to go, but since I was at it, I wanted to go over it again. So I filled that tube with some sealant, and then I used air in the syringe to blow it in there, and then I'm just using the tube like a really long spatula. I'm getting sealant on it, and I'm just trying to spread it along that seam and make a fillet. I was having a hard time getting the tube go exactly the way I wanted, so you saw me break away from the camera there for a minute. I took some baling wire, used the drill, doubled it over on itself, and twisted it to make it strong, and stuck that in the tube so it was bendable. So that was it. Sealant's on all of it. The tank is sitting at a slight angle to help hold it in place, and we're going to let it cure and see what happens. Hopefully before I leave on the next trip, we'll get the rest of it done, and I don't know, maybe get a leak check in, maybe not. Did a little bit more work on that top skin on the right wing. Want to try and get those riveted on this weekend if possible. Maybe, maybe not. But thought I would show you the progress and let you see the fix. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below, like and subscribe.